Tim in Kansas City. Hello, Tim.
Oh, hey guys. Thanks for taking my call. I just had 2 questions, if that would be all right. They're pretty short.
Sure.
The first one is, you always hear people saying that evolution is just a theory. It's only a theory, not knowing what the actual theory means in a scientific sense.
Yeah, it's an equivocation over that word.
Yeah,
right?
your creationists say it with the word just.
It's
sort of like saying Earth is just a planet.
Gravity is just a theory,
along with the theory of relativity. But
right.
But my question is, I'm not all the way up to date on my scientific terms, so my question is, if evolution is a fact, which I believe it is, why isn't it called a law?
There are actually, I always hesitate to try to delve into scientific terminology because I usually seem to get it wrong. But my understanding is that a law, first of all, it's not any more definite than a theory. I mean, as you know, a theory is a framework of explanation for describing why it is that certain facts hold together. And it has to take all observations into account. A law is actually a very specific term that requires a precise description of behavior. For instance,
it's descriptive, though.
Right,
That's the important thing. Is you may not have an explanation for it, but you're describing something you see, like the speed of light being a universal thing. That's kind of a law, or gravity being a law in the sense of everywhere we've seen this, it's behaved this way. And I think what Russell's getting to is generally with laws there's a quantification. It's like a mathematical function that usually
like
comes
for
with
instance, the law of gravity isn't just a general description of gravity, because there is something called the theory of gravity also, and that's distinct from the law. And the law of gravity, specifically says, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, I haven't had a physics class in years, but it's like force equals the product of the two masses divided by the square of the distance. Something like that.
Yeah, basically.
And that isn't, and just because they call that a law doesn't mean that that's definite and can never be changed. It just means these are the observations that things that we can observe and experiment on conform to this equation, and we can use this equation to predict the way that they'll work within a reasonable measure of accuracy.
So to answer your question with regard to evolution, it's not really easily put into an equation, and that's the only reason.
Right, because there's a lot that goes into the theory of evolution. There are a number of different parts. I mean, there are genetic laws about the way that you can predict how two different genotypes will come together and probabilistically produce an offspring.
Right. There is quantification. When you open the box and look inside, there are areas where there are laws and there are quantifications going on.
Right. But
it's
what
just
I'm saying
they're not that popular in culture.
Evolution isn't just one giant scientific concept that, like, you say it in a sentence and everything is gone. Evolution is a framework or a theory which encompasses a whole lot of different disciplines, from genetic study to archaeology and the fossil record. A whole lot of different disciplines come together under the umbrella of evolution, and evolution won't ever graduate from a theory to a law, because when it meets some standards, because a law is just a different kind of thing than a theory.
It's more like a framework, scientific framework for thinking about all these different disciplines and how the observations they see there.
Right. I want to recommend...
It's just kind of a bit of a different beast in that it's not so easily quantified.
Yeah. I want to recommend a website, but I don't have it right on me. So why don't you keep watching for a few minutes?
Are there some keywords that you can Google about?
I hope so, but I don't want to waste too much time.
Okay, maybe we should switch to another caller. Unless you had something else?
That's fine.
Did you have anything else?
Oh, no, that pretty much is it. Thank you guys for summing all that up.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, but actually, if I were you, this is the best page to look at talkorigins.org. In the facts section, it is an article titled "Evolution is a Fact and a Theory." I think you should go over that page because it's kind of long and very detailed, and I think addresses the question better than either of us are qualified to do.
Yeah, and that's a very good website, talkorigins.org.
Right.
It's a gathering of a lot of information having to do with origins questions, which are very important questions. But one of the things I really like on that website is there's a sort of a taxonomy of apologetics or of intelligent design claims and answers to those. And so pretty much anything you ever hear about intelligent design or creationism is answered there, and it's exhaustively listed out, and it's just really wonderful resource. So.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, thanks for calling.